How's it going? David from Comic Book Investments. So Heritage just had a big auction that just ended. It's still ongoing, but the meat of it, the big day is done with all the high grade stuff, very expensive stuff. I think I got an email saying that they did something like $5.4 million, and the average lot was 125,000 or something like that. Something ridiculous, crazy. I think our average lot for our comics are like somewhere like 400 or 300 for our auction, but nowhere near Heritage, not yet. Hopefully one day. But also, I believe I read somewhere that they did Heritage as a whole. They do more than just comics, but they did 1.5 billion dollars last year in sales. So, and they take, I don't know. I only know the comic division. Each division is different. Like real estate takes a higher cut, I think. Um, Guitars, I think, take a higher cut. But I think like comics is their buyer's premium is like 20%. And then their seller fee is anywhere from 0 to 15%. And you can negotiate the seller fee depending on what you're giving them. If you're giving them something that's like a comic book, like Spider-Man 300 and it's worth like $800, you're going to be charged 15% on top of the 20% buyer's premium. If you're giving them something that's worthwhile, like an Action Number One, they'll probably waive the entire um, seller's fee and maybe even waive a little bit of the buyer's premium. So what they do is they give you a negative. I've gotten negatives before because, like I said before, my dad used to work there. So I got a bit of a discount. Nonetheless, let's go through these. I have not looked at these at all, so I am going to go through them as you're going through them. I got the GPA pulled up. We're going to look to see here. Let's make me a little bit smaller so you can see the GPA a little better. And we're going to go see, let's see what's happening in the market. Let's see if any of these are coming close to records. Are they still dropping? Are they dropping by 50%? I did that video on the Fantasy 15 that dropped by like 50% in 6 months or whatever. Is it still going down? Let's see. Okay, first up here, we got this Amazing Fantasy 15. This is their big one, big ticket item. Now it's a 9.2, so there's probably not going to be very many 9.2s that have sold before, but let's look at it anyways. Make sure you guys can see everything good. Okay. Okay, so the last time a 9.2 sold was back in 2019, and it sold for 600,000. So this one sold for 800. Now I can do my increase calculator here. And let's see. Last one sold, let's just say 600,000 to 800,000. I don't like to do the math in my head because it's just easier this way. All right, that's a 33% increase, roughly, from January of this year to when the last one sold, June. Okay, so looking at 3.5 years. So can't really tell if that one, what it would have sold for, during the peak comic boom times. But nonetheless, it's still a record price. And I mean, they made 33% of the money after a few short years. This Superman number one is going to be the same thing. It's a pedigree copy on top of that. Superman ones don't come up that often, usually restored. So, I mean, it's going to be really hard to tell. But I'll just show you guys. Let's just see for fun. Some of these bigger ones. Man, very nice. There's the highest grade, I think, is an 8.0 of this book, unlike the Action Number One. Okay, so here we go. We do have one. Now, this is not the Nova Scotia. The Nova Scotia right here sold back in 2007 for $83,000. It recently sold for, so almost 10x your money, about 9 times your money, roughly, somewhere around there, of your money that this person bought it back in 2007. You're looking at like January. Okay, so you're looking at 16 years, and they 9 times their money, roughly. So, not a bad deal. Okay, but one did sell a 5.0 non-pedigree, sold for $720,000, but also a month later, a 4.0 sold for $815,000. So either this person got a good deal or this person paid too much, or both. So this one sold for $675,000. So that's a less than this one. Was this also an auction? That does make a difference. This also was an auction. So Nova Scotia pedigree, I don't think is a very good pedigree to begin with. Not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not sought after like Mile High or something like that. So I don't think it's going to command too much of a premium. But this is basically what you have. May last year, kind of coming down from the comic book boom hype, but nonetheless a drop of a few percentage. So not that much really, not that big of a deal. Now, if you compare it to this one, it's quite a bit of a drop. All right, so let's look here. We got a Frank Frazetta piece. I don't even like this. It's the first time I've ever seen this. Don't really like it. Whatever. Batman #1. Okay, Batman #1. We got a 6.0 selling for 5.5. 6.0, yeah, not that many 6.0s. In fact, there's been no 6.0 selling, so this is the first ever of a 6.0 selling. Yeah, hard to say, but what did it sell for? 5.5. So this one sold at probably the peak of the market, right? Would we consider the peak? And this sold for 5. What is this? A 6.0, and this is a 6.5 selling for 5, slightly more, but only 25,000 before a 6.5 is a 6.0. So I would imagine if this one sold, because September, late summer of 2021, that was pretty much the peak for the comic book boom, and it sold for probably a good right around the same what a 6.5 would sell for. So there is my personal opinion. I do not feel that blue chip keys like this Batman one are really going down. But that's one book. Flash Comics #1. That's a rare book. I don't think there'll be many Flash Comics #1s. This type of book that sells rare upon rare. What grade is this even in? It is a 5.0. Yeah, look how rare this book is. This is a rare book. So there's been, in the last 2 years, there's been 1, 2, 3 sales in 2 years. You got a 1.5, a 1.8, and a 2.0. That's it. Nothing in the last 2 years. I mean, there's probably even some further back. Like if you got one in 2019. The next one is 2018, another in 2018, one in 2019. So you're looking at about 1 to 2 sales per year. That's all you get on this book. What did it sell for? 192,000. This one sold for 85 or 1.5. That's the thing. It's like when these books come up, it's like people are going to pay whatever they can to get it. So do I think this is a good deal? I don't know. So rare. What is this thing? I don't really care about that. Tales. I was like, why is this so expensive? Tailspin's $39, but it's the side thing. It's not the right. Or is this Tony Stark? I don't know. Then we got this one. It's 132,000. This one, and if you guys want to know why is this yellow, and then the top is, white. Usually they have paste ups and one's like art, and they'll, for some reason, I think, when was this, 1966? I just think, oh, this was back in caveman times. How in the world did they Xerox things? I guess they could somehow. They had some type of Xerox. Here's another Batman #1 and an 8.5. Sorry, a 1.8. Let's see. Okay, so this one sold for 126,000. That's so crazy. I had a 3.5, and I sold it for 55,000 or something like that. All right, the last one to sell was in April 2022, and it sold for 180,000. This one sold. Oh, dang! This one went way down. Way down. Way down. Maybe I should backtrack my statement. Blue Chick Comics staying the course. But how nice is this? This looks much nicer. To me, this looks like someone bought it and probably tried to press it up and make it better. I mean, it does have that big piece missing down there, but maybe a 2.0 out of it? I don't know. Who's to say? Because a 2.0 makes a huge difference. It's like almost a $100,000 jump if you go from 1.8 to 2.5. So This one, there looks like there's nothing you could do. It's missing pieces. The spine's all split. Yeah, that one's dead. I don't know. That one all remain to be seen. Let's see here. Let's look at this Avengers #1. It's Avengers #1, 9.4 Northland pedigree. I don't know if it makes much of a difference. Most of these pedigrees, like, yeah. All right, so the last time it sold was in 2013. So you're looking at 10 years ago. Sold for $95,000. Only went up, not even 30,000. But how's it doing? The last one to sell was 21, so kind of the peak, right? This is kind of peak of a comic boom. Wait, are we looking 9.4? I'm looking at 9.4. Yeah, we got nothing. The last 9.4 to sell was 2017. That's too long ago to tell, and it sold for 90,000. Now it's up 30,000. North one was 95 back in 2013. Jesus. The Northland actually at one point sold for 185,000. I bet I know what this is. So the reason why this is so expensive back in 2012, if you can see here, it sold for 2012. This happened to one of my books. At the time, because if you look at the census, so let's look at the census here. Let's see what's available. We got 5 9.6s and all 9, the rest are 9.4s. So at the time, there's probably no 9.6s, and this was a one of few back in 2012, right? There's probably not very many 9.4s. Maybe it's 2 or 3 or something like that. So it got a lot. And so as time goes on, as more start coming on the census, and then it gets beat, by a 9.6, multiple 9.6s, it goes down in price. That happened to a Showcase 22 I had. At one point, it was the highest grade at a 9.2. And then next thing you know, another 9.2 gets graded, I believe, and then a 9.4 gets graded. And it just keeps on getting cut down because people pay a premium for the top grade. And if it's no longer the top grade anymore, people won't pay that premium. So that could be the reason why. I don't know what a 9.4 really goes for. The last one was 2017 was 90,000. So it's really hard to say. Wiz Comics. Yay, I just did that video on that. Wiz Comics #1, first Shazam, or Captain Marvel as he used to be called. At one point, Shazam was outselling Superman, and that's why DC Comics got upset. And they tried to sue Fawcett Comics, which is the owner or the publisher of Wiz Comics. They tried to sue him, and they won. They said it was too much like Superman. This is another book barely sells at all. Okay, we do have a 4.0 selling for 105,000. Well, here we go. This is a 3.5 selling for 120, selling for more than one did back in March of 2022. So, it's not conclusive. Last 3.5 sold was 72,000 back in January of 2021, kind of the start of the comic boom. And as you can see here, it sells for close to double, maybe 70, 80% more. So, no conclusive evidence showing that it's really getting hurt. But these are in the top echelon of comic books. I'm just telling you the data that I see. I'm seeing it at the same time that you are seeing it, and I'm giving you my response. So these are all these are blue chip comics, and every single one has gone up. The only one that didn't was the Batman 1 at an 8.5, but again, I'm not really sure about that that previous 1.8. Could have been someone trying to do something to it. Were they successful? I don't know. Tales of Suspense 39 and a 9.2. Okay, so we had one in November. Looks about one a year. This is an auction as well. Probably Heritage. Yep, Heritage. Okay, so we had a 9.2. And then we had in 2021 was this middle, all right, at its peak. All right, so technically, if you go by the comic boom chart, all of you, I will show you an example of what a typical comic boom looks like. Let's see. I'm sorry. I need something with a lot of data on it. I should have done Hulk 181. That's what I want to do. Sorry. Hulk 181. I'll show you. I need a lot of data so I can show you pretty much what they generally look like. Let's see if this one. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like. Now, Hulk 181 fares better than other ones, but I'm showing, like, if this was the Hulk 340, I would show you it would just keep going down, at least when this one's stabilized. But you go into like 2019, which is right here. That's where I'm going on this little dot line here. This is about 2019. You get to 2020, and then things start going up. And then you're getting in the peaks right around 2021, all that kind of stuff. Even, 2021, all the way through, and then they kind of level out. So that's basically what it's looking. That's what you want to look for. So anything like sold in, 2021, the beginning to mid of 2021, that is going to be kind of like your peak for the comic boom. If we look at a book that's like gone down a lot, which I always do videos on, this one at that rate hasn't really gone down as much. But it looks more like this. So you're coming up in 2020, it starts rising and rising, and look at this. It like triples in price in like a few months. Right here, it's selling for $177 at the end of 2020, and then by basically spring of 2021, it's gone straight up, and then it just starts dropping. Now, if it's the Eternals, it would drop down to zero, but that's a joke. So that's what you're kind of looking for. So early 2021 would be the peak of what I'd say the comic boom. So if we're looking at this one right here, 9.2 sells for 108. Okay, so this at its peak was selling for 144, then it goes up to 168, and now it's dropped all the way down to 108. That's not good. Am I worried about this book? No, not really. Like I said, this sells once a year. So it's just kind of who's bidding and wanting it. Oh, wow, we got 2 X-Men number 1s, both in 9.0s. Off-white to white, off-white to white, about the same, no difference. Selling for 102 and 108. Let's go through here. So 102, 108 for 9.0s. Highest grade I ever had with this was, I had a 8.0, and it had this little flap on the back. And we're like, oh, we could probably make that look nicer. Needless to say, we did make it nicer. Send it in. They knocked it off. And then it came back a 7.0. They knocked up, it was like a little dog ear that was bent back the other way, and we bent to the back. Yeah. Pressed it or whatever. No good. They knocked it off. We got a 7.0, and there's nothing we could do. Because now it has a little tiny piece missing. Win some, lose some. All right, so last one to sell was for 114. Now, as you see right around here, 2021, these books don't sell often, so it went from 95 in early 2021. Then it jumps up to November of 2021, jumps up to 185, then back down to 156, then to 114, and now for 102 and 108. Would these books have gone higher if there's only one of them? Most likely. So not good for that. Oh, whoops, I'm looking at the wrong. Fantasy 15 is the next one. Right here, we got the 6.5. 6.5. Okay, so last one to sell is June for 120,000. What do we got this one? 96. Going down. Going down. So it looks like a lot of Silver Age keys are not holding strong. At one point, this one sold for 225. I don't know, but that seems really high. Then it goes 180, then 120, and then this one sells sub 100,000. This one's kind of crazy. Little dot number 1. Little dot number 1. It's probably single highest grade or something like that. First appearance of Richie Rich, I believe. Yeah, no, nothing's even close to it. So. What did it sell for? $78,000 for this little dot number 1. The last, there's an 8.0 for $13,000, then a 9.2 sold for $21 way back in the day. So there's nothing really to compare it to. Ooh, I love this book. It's one of my favorite books. I don't even think that's the highest grade. I think the highest grade is a 9.8. Oops, sorry, a 9.8. Or maybe not. Let's see. Yeah, there is a 9.8. Yeah, 9.8. I thought so. All right, so we don't really got in the 9.0, but we do have a 8.5 selling for $52,000. This one's selling for 72 for a 9.0. That seems to be about right. Wow, this one, look at this one. So this one sold in November, but in 2022, 2021, selling for about 32,000 and then jumps up to 52. There's a good book. All right, Hulk 181. This is going to have lots of data on it. 9.8, I think it should. This was selling for 100 and something thousand at its peak. I know that much. Oh, it's Hulk 1. Okay, so one just sold, as you can see, whoa, went up to 138, man. Ooh. And so it's been pretty strong at like 96, 90, 90, but all selling for 90, 96, somewhere there. Obviously, looks like the medium A price was around, if you look at 2021, you're looking anywhere from 87,000 to 45,000. Then it jumps up to 85, 90. There's one for 100. This one was 138. That seems ridiculous. But all around the 90,000 mark. And then this one sells for 69,000. Man. Man. Way, way low. So it looks like, so far, if I had to judge based off of these few sales, looks like Silver Age not doing too hot. Bronze Age not doing too hot. Golden Age, still a killer. Horror books, superhero books, still killing it. All right, let's look at this 5.5 for 66,000. Last one to sell was 75, so a bit of a drop off, but not near its highs. Okay, let's look at this Hulk 1. So we got a Hulk 1 and a 7.0. These are pretty rare, especially in that grade. Okay, we got one for 69,000. It peaked at last summer for 91. And 2021 is selling for about 79. What did it sell for? 63 was the last one. It sold 69, so down slightly. What is this? CBCS. Okay, for all you guys, look at the difference. 7.0 CGC sells for 63. 7.5 CBCS sells for 58. That one's not going to have anything to compare to. We got this Golden Age Captain America comics. That seems pretty high to me. I'm not too familiar with Captain America off the top of my head. Captain America comics number 46. These are always rare. So, what grade is this? 8.0 selling for 55,000. We got a 7.5 selling for 55,000. So that jump up, I wouldn't really consider this down that much then, because it's not the highest grade or single highs. We obviously have a 9.4. What do we got? We got 196. Says there's a 9.4, but not anymore. Someone probably took that 9.4 and made it a 9.6, but that wouldn't make any sense because it would have been the single highest grade. Must be for a different book, I'm assuming. This is back to 2003. They probably made a mistake. So you got the 9.2, a 9.0. So you got multiple books that are beating it. So jumping up from 7.5 to 8.0 is not that big of a jump. It's kind of like whoever wants to pay that price. CBCS. I have this book right here. It's missing a centerfold, but it's in my vault. It's not a 9.0, I can tell you that much, but it's very expensive, 50,000. Okay, let's try something that's not so close to the highest grade. I'm going to skip ahead after a few of these and let's kind of start being more picky and choosy on what I'm, just so I don't want to stay here all day going through each one individually. Let's see, 43,000 for an 8.0 back in October of 2022. Let's see, 43,000. Oh, sold for more. So, I mean, it's kind of up. But it's nowhere near its peak in late summer-ish for 90,000. So, it's not really down. I had a 4.0 of this book, and I sold it for, I want to say 40. I think it was a 4. No, it was a 4.5. So that was years ago. I think that was around the peak, actually. Let's see. First Wonder Woman. Last one to sell was 42,000. This one sells for 43,000. So it didn't really lose much. At its peak, it was selling for 56. But then you got, a 4.0 selling for 55. They don't really change much. Look, you got this 93,000 in February, but then you can go way up here and get yourself a 65, 60. That's why I'm telling you, you guys got to hunt for the good deals. Things fall through the cracks, and then other times people will pay way too much, 75, 93, and then this is like 66 and 60. Yeah, and then it jumps up to, look at the difference. Oh, you want a 6.5 at 60,000. Oh, but I would prefer a 7.0. Okay, well, that's an extra $100,000. Okay, let's look at this variant here. Let's see if this has moved at all. Ultimate Fallout 4 variant. 1 in 25. Probably quite a few copies. 43,000. That seems really high. All right, you got yourself a world record. Last one to sell is 40. All right, you got yourself a world record. World record for this one right here. That's probably record 9.6. I don't really care about the Wasp that much. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't really like Rob Liefeld's art that much. I don't like his style. I will say he's unique. He's very unique. He's somewhat unique. There's a lot of Todd McFarlane influence in his art. But beyond that, it's pretty unique. I can always spot him. The way he does his face, everyone's face look the same. Feet, and then packs everywhere. Everyone has to have packs, especially in the 90s. Let's see. That one. Someone offered me this book, and I turned it down because he wanted like 40, I think, for it. Because at the time, I think 44 or something was what the last one sold for. Let's see. And this is recent. Someone recently offered me this book, and I turned him down because I said it's too much risk. There's not enough. Yeah, 43 was the last one, and then and when was this? Summer of 2022. And I turned him down because I was like, he's like, well, 44 was the last one. And I was like, yeah, but it's too much risk. I think you want to 40 or even like 38 or something. And I was like, no, I was like, there's too much risk. There's just way too much risk with this book because I have to wait for the right person to want to spend that kind of money. It's a lot of money to spend, especially on like a modern variant. It's a lot of money. I told him, I was like, it'll probably sit for a long time. I obviously could get rid of it by throwing it in an auction, and I could throw it in this auction. And, so you're looking at this right here, and you're thinking, okay, it went for 37,000. But let's see what the person actually got. The person probably, let's see. The person probably, after buyer's premium, so take away like 6,000, 7,000 almost for buyer's premium. And then I would imagine you probably had like a book with this caliber is probably like a 5% fee. So you're losing like 25%. And so, you're making almost 30,000 off this book. So that's why I was like, yeah, I couldn't. It's too much risk. I didn't want to take that risk on that type of book. You're tying up all that money for something to sit forever. Then I have to hope and pray that if I do send it to auction, it goes for a price. And then, it went for an okay price. Let's see this showcase. I'm interested in this showcase. Let's see how DC Silver Age is doing. This is the first Silver Age book, if you guys did not know that. Started with Showcase 4. So we got the Silver Age Showcase 4 selling for, let's say, almost 40,000 at 6.5. Nothing really concrete. But you do have this one selling for 32, 30, 32, and then this one up to 80. I feel like it's a fair price, maybe a little low. All right, what about this Fantastic Four? Fantastic Fours have been down. And then after this, I'm going to jump into not so high stuff. All right, we got 28, 33, and then around 40. So 37. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Like, The last one to sell was for 20. Okay, so we got 38. 20. Look at this. That's what I'm talking about. Look for deals. Same. Is this the same auction? It can't be the same auction. 17th and 17th. Two different books. Same auction. I don't know how that worked out. One sells for 28, one sells 38. And then just one sold for 56 earlier, one sold for 37. In 2021, the peak was 38. Same price as this. So this book hasn't really gone down in that grade. This used to sell for, this is lower than it used to be. Okay, let's skip way ahead. What was this? A 9.8. Wait. Signature signed by whoever it's signed by. Brian Michael. I don't know. What? Is that what it says? Oh, Brian Bendis. Okay. Signed by Brian Bendis, 9.8. I'm like pointing at the screen like you guys can actually see it. Wasn't there one? Yeah, right here, 9.8. This one sells for 43, unsigned, but the signed one sells for 32. So almost $10,000 less. That's the thing with signed things. You kind of have to hope someone likes it because it's really distracting. Like you have a big signature on the book somewhere, and then you get the gold label. It doesn't really match with the rest of your blue stuff. So signature is like, it's a weird thing. I've never been too successful with it. Not saying I'm not successful with it, but I find they sit longer. It's a shot in the dark because you have to, generally, if you're going up something like it's a 9.8 at top grade, they generally don't want it unless there's a lot more in the top grade. So it's a way to make yours look different, or it's a signature someone really, really wants, like a Stan Lee possibly. But yeah, I've had this book before. That's the 90s for you. Has a certain charm to it. This is the book I'm always looking for. I have this book. Okay, let's scroll through. This is the first Conan, I think. That was cool. Got a drawing on it. Okay, let's see what I'm just kind of scrolling through with it. First Judge Dredd. I've had this one before. Archie #1. Restored. Ooh, here we go. The Crow signed. So this one, $12,000 for the Crow #1. Signed. I'm not going to really be able to compare it, but we can still look at other Crow #1s. Black cover, harder to get in the black cover. Shows a lot of defects. We got 9,600 peak pricing at 14. And this one's signed, selling for 12. What was that? Star Trek. 92. I like looking at stuff because I get to see things I've never seen before. $10,000? $10,000. What is this? Avengers 52. Black Panther joins. I just did a video on that. I always love this cover. It's a guy cut out everyone's tongue so no one can hear them scream. He's going to cut out this girl's tongue. I've had this book multiple times. Always love it every time. Old Detective Comics #2. That's cool. That's pretty high grade for this book. It's harder to find in high grade. First Bizarro. 6,000 for a 9.8. Making a comeback. People like these Frank Frazetta, Buck Rogers Famous Funnies. Those are good ones to get. Let's say that this is Batman 227. I'm just curious. Most of this I'm just literally looking and like, oh, this looks interesting. Let's look what it's gone for. I'll give you my overall impression of it. All right, so 9.6 hasn't been one sold. Last one sold. Wait, am I even looking at the same book? Yeah. Okay, 5,500. I thought it was for some reason 10,000. All right, last one sold 2020, 3,500. Obviously, a 9.4 is selling for 3,700 now, so it's probably more than that. But it's a record price. There you go, record price. Boom. I should have like a little button that I press and it makes like a sound. Yeah, I like going through Heritage because I always get to see things like I've never seen before, or I've only seen crappy copies. I get to see all the original art. That stuff's kind of cool. Vampire cover. Oh, here we go. Manufacturing error. That's it. That's it. That's the whole day. It's everything. That can't be. Guess that's everything. Dang, this one auction was all $5 million. We just went through $5.5 million worth of stuff. I feel like I didn't see that much stuff. It's always weird. I never understand. It's like, how did some of these books make it? Like these on here, sold for $2,000-$3,000. Okay. Okay. What about the Spider-Man? Spider-Man 59. I have a 9.6 of that up for sale. Let's do the Spider-Man 59. And a 9.8. Last one, we're looking at $3,300. This one right in line. Hasn't really gone down. Literally $3,360. $3,360. Sold the exact same as the previous one. Its previous peak was way back here in 2009. The reason why this one sold for $3,600 is because it was probably the only one at the time. They probably always like, oh my gosh, if you guys watch this kind of stuff, now there's 46. Jesus. That's one of the problems is like the more they come on the census, it kind of devalues it a little bit. But that's kind of like what happened with video games. Like video games came out, it's like video games was like the first Mario 64 sold for like $1.5 million. And then the next one was like $1 million. And the next one was like 500,000. And the next one was like 300,000 because everyone thought like, oh, I got the only 9.8. And then, well, what do you know? Another one got graded. And then it's like, okay, drop it in half. Another one gets graded. Okay, drop it in half. That's what happens. So this probably people thought like it was the only 9.8 or only a few 9.8s. And then, you know, more 9.8s come out and then goes up and starts going up again. So that one sold fine. I mean, they have a lot of rare stuff. So let's see, Spider-Man 44 and a 9.6. Last one sold for $58.50. Yeah, sold low. Okay, I got a good handle on stuff. So looks like your big golden age keys are doing fine. That's what it looks like to me. Especially the horror stuff, the rare stuff, they're doing fine. Captain America comics doing fine. Let's see, 9.2 X-Men #1. Even though I said I'm done, I'm still looking at stuff. It looks like $8,200 was the last one. Sold for $9,000, so more than the last one in January. Okay, so this one. Okay, it looks like it only sells one a year. Look at this, one a year, every year. So obviously 2022 sold for 14, so quite a bit, but then back down to $9,000. Yeah, so it looks like Golden Age still holding strong. Nothing really going on with Golden Age. Art still sells for a ridiculous price. I mean, art's always one of one. It's one of a kind. I mean, I don't know why this is worth $21,000. But I'm not the one buying it. What is this? John Romita, splash page, 22,000. I'm not. These Superman just selling for, man. Mark Bagley. It's just a splash page, cool splash page, but 32,000. So it looks like Golden Age is fine. Art seems to be fine. I don't really pay that much attention to art other than like big sales, so I couldn't really tell you. And art's always one of one, so it's very hard. Silver Age still looks like it's dipping. Let's see this Avengers #4. The modern books I checked out, the very few of them, variants, they seem to be doing fine. So it's too hard to tell, to be honest. Look, no sales, so I couldn't even tell you. Last one was 2020, sold for $19,000, so doubled your money since 2019. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I would say Golden Age seems still pretty strong because again, Golden Age is really rare. Silver Age keys seem like they're still dropping / maybe like maybe we've seen the worst of it. So they're kind of like it went up, came down, and now it's just kind of leveling out. Because some have gone up a little bit, some have still gone down a little bit if they had recent sales. within the last like 3-6 months. The modern books I checked out, not very many of them seem to be doing fine, like the variants. We got some records still being broken. Overall, there's not really much to say. This seems like, oh, okay, kind of, yeah. Yeah, so this is, I mean, they'll have another big auction in a quarter from now with more stuff. You can check out some video game stuff. I'm sure video games are dropping like a ton. This one's still, I don't know what video games go for. I know some of these can be worth like 100, 200,000 to close to $1 million. I'm not sure which one is which. Oh, what is this? Oh, this is just sold. I just sold my copy. I sold a 5.0 for $62.50. So, not bad. But yeah. Oh, what have we got here? Robin. First Robin. 15,000 for 8.0 restored. That's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought. Sorry, this was a very long video. I didn't mean to, but I didn't really have a plan going into it. Someone asked if I could run through this and give my opinion. That's kind of my opinion. Have a good night.